Hi everybody, this is Julie with Just Julie, and today we're going to be making a spring/summertime wreath. So I just got one of these plastic wreaths, and I got these from Michael's, and I know they're available at different craft stores. And I have my glue gun going on here. So what you're going to need to do is get any color that you want for your yarn, and we're going to cover this entire thing in yarn. So this is how you get started on this. You start just with a little piece of your glue here. Trying to work it on down. Let's see here. Doesn't seem to want to be coming out. Maybe I need to add another glue stick in here to kind of push this through. There we go. Maybe I need to let this heat up a little bit. It's on high. Alright, well, I'll let this heat up just a little bit more and then see if I can get this to come out. So, we'll come right back. Hi everybody, this is Julie with Just Julie, and today we're going to be making a spring/summertime wreath. So what you're going to need is a roll of yarn, any color that you want, and one of these wreaths here. I got mine at Michael's, but I know there's other craft stores that also carry them, and you will need a glue gun. So let's get started. You just need to put a little piece of glue down on here first. There we go. And this is just going to hold your first piece of yarn. So really it's just your first piece and your last piece of yarn. So I'm just going to kind of press that in there without burning my little fingers here. There we go. And then you're just going to start winding it, and you're going to keep nice tight little layers. So you just put this one right next to it so you can't see any white through it as best you can. And you're just going to keep doing this until you do your entire wreath here. So this is going to take a considerable amount of time, but patience will pay off on this thing. So I'm going to come back when I'm all done with this. Okay, so I've gone ahead the same way that I glued the first piece, and then I just glued the last piece back here. And I did notice that there are some spaces in here. I did my best. This took me actually an hour and a half to wrap it. So, but I'm noticing some gaps. So what I'm trying to do is find the tightest spot, which I think this looks like the tightest spot right here. And then where the looser areas, they're not wrapped as tight, I'll add more flowers this direction. So that's kind of my goal. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make one of the flowers. So what you're going to need is some stick pins. And I am just going to pull out some of them. They're kind of intermixed with some of my regular just safety pins that I have in here. So you'll need a few of these, and then we'll get started. So what I have is about 1.5 inches here of fabric, and you're just going to fold it in half. And then you're going to start pinning it, and you are going to pin it at the base of this. So I've got the wrong side here. So you're just going to start pinning it at the base where your two folds meet up here. You're just going to go along. So you'll probably do, I don't know, for this size, probably about 5, I think. So let me just do a couple here. We're going to go along pinning this. And you kind of do it about 1/4 inch from the bottom there. So let's see, I need another little pin here. And I think I will use one more just at the very end and pin that right here. Okay, so now that we've got it all pinned, now what you're going to do is go in and cut it. I'm just using my Tim Holtz shears here. This seems to cut through this felt really nicely. So I'm just cutting down little tabs on here. You're just going to keep cutting it down. You don't have to be perfect. I mean, you can try to do your best to do, like, I think this is probably about 1/4 inch each little tab. So do your best. When it gets rolled up, you'll not be able to tell the difference. Okay, and now what you do, I take the first one out, And then you try to keep these two tabs together as best as possible, and you're going to roll this in tightly. You're going to keep rolling it and keep rolling it here. Keep rolling it in until you get to your next pin. You're going to pull out that pin, and again you're trying to keep your fabric together and all met at the bottom here. So you're just going to keep that. You're going to keep rolling it and rolling it, and then pull out your next pin. Once again, we're just going to keep rolling it, and this is going to be so cute in the end. It's a cute little, it's going to look like a little pom-pom. Take out this one here, keep rolling it again. There we go. Getting harder to hang on to here. It doesn't help that my nail is sharp and it keeps getting caught up in the felt. Okay. I'm going to keep rolling it and kind of pressing it in a little here. Keep rolling it and pressing. And then I'm going to do my last little bit of felt. And then what you do is you put a pin on it, but instead of putting a pin on it, since I'm ready to just be finished with this, what I am going to do is I have my hot glue gun all ready to go. So I am just going to hot glue this right here, a little bit of glue right there, and then I'm going to press that in. And then I'm going to open this little tab here because this is a folded felt, so it has two pieces to it. And then I'm going to do that and press that in there. Press it in there just for a little bit. I'm going to kind of push down on this too to kind of make it go in. Oh man. Okay. And now what you want to do, and I'm only going to show this part once because this is the same for each and every one of them. At the bottom of it, you're going to want to do a cross. So you're going to do it like that and one across. And then you're going to cut a little piece of extra felt and put it on there. So I'm just going to do that and kind of hold it in place a little bit. And then obviously this is too big, so I'm just going to go around with the extra felt and go like this and clip it off. And then you're just going to put hot glue, and then that's going to adhere onto your wreath that you made. So there's one flower. Let's get started on the other flower. For the next flower, we're going to do the same pinning method. So we are going to fold this in half like this. Perfect. And instead of pinning down here where these folds meet up here, you are going to pin down below here. So this is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to pin it down here about 1/4 of an inch once again. You just got to try to keep your felt in line there. So I am just going to pin here and keep going down the line here. There we go. We'll do it again. And I'm going to make sure I keep these even here. Alright, and we'll pin that one, and then we just have one last pin to do. And again, we're going to cut the slits again, so we'll just cut them like this. And this is going to be fun because this is going to be a different, the other one was a loopy version, and this is going to be like a little frayed version, like a little pom-pom frayed version, so it's kind of neat. Okay, and I'm definitely going to link where I saw this from because she did such an amazing job at demonstrating and explaining how this all went together. So I will definitely link her tutorial. So I'm just going to pull out one of the pins here, and you're just going to roll it inward like this. And you're just going to roll it as tight as possible. And when you get to the next pin, you just pull that out. And you keep rolling. Isn't that so cute? How do you see that coming together? And it is easier to do it these type of flowers because you have this nice little folded layer down here that you don't have to worry so much about keeping that in alignment because it's, you know, the fabric's all together here. So that's just makes it a little bit easier on this particular kind of flower. So I'm just going to keep rolling here. Keep rolling again. Okay, and we are on our last pin. And we're going to keep rolling it, rolling it. Okay, so now that we've got to the end here, I am going to take a little bit of my hot glue, add that to here, and then I'm going to press this down without burning myself, hopefully. So we're going to press that onto here. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to open this up because I need to do a little bit of glue right here. Just a tiny bit of glue. And then we're going to press this together. And then with your little extra piece of fabric, once again, you'll do the cross and then add it down there. But that is your cute little flower. Isn't that so sweet? So now we have 2 examples of the flowers to do. And I've done little mini versions. I mean, you saw my wreath. You'll see that next that I've done bigger versions of it. So just use bigger, instead of, you know, like a 1.5 strip that you're going to fold in half, do a 2-inch strip and then fold it in half, and then you can cut in a little bit deeper here. So let's get started with the last flower that I am going to show you, and that is using a round piece of felt. Okay, and for our last flower, what we're going to do is show you how to do this one that's in a circle pattern. And so what I've done, this was the square, which was actually like a rectangle that I had here of fabric, and then I cut it, then I folded it so it made kind of like a rectangle slash square, and then I cut out this kind of like you do, you know, when you're in grade school and you make a little heart, so it's that portion of it there. So I cut that out so that when you unfold it, it'll look like a circle. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your shears, you're going to cut in probably like, that's about a 1/2 inch or so, 3/4 of an inch. And you're just going to try to keep the same exact distance all the way around. So you're just going to go in a spiral pattern. So we're just going to keep cutting around here. And I'll show you what you do when you get to this step coming up. So when you get to this step coming up, you want to try to keep your 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch, wherever it was that you were doing. And then you're going to keep going in around in a circle pattern here. You're going to keep going around and keep cutting this until you get to the edge here. And once we get to the edge, then I'll show you what we do at that point. So now we'll just trim that off. So now we're going to start rolling. So I am going to take this inside piece here. We're just going to roll it inwards. And you're going to make sure that you keep this side level. So you're going to keep the bottom nice and flat. Now you might see some parts not being so flat on the top part of it, meaning this part, but that's okay. We can work around that. So we're just going to keep going around in a circle, trying to keep this nice and level and flat. So we're just going to keep going. And sometimes you might need to kind of push it a little bit along the way. So we'll just keep going here. And I'm going to keep going. Where that one part that we cut kind of curved into a little bit, I'll show you how that works in just a second here. I can see kind of that I need to push this a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to keep rolling this some more and rolling it. And keep rolling till I get to this one part that I really want to show you guys what to do when you have an uneven part that's going to be coming up here soon. It's coming up right here. So I'm going to keep rolling. I'm going to kind of push in with my thumb here. Keep rolling it. So this is what you do with this part here. You still keep rolling it to this side, and it's going to look really funny. See how uneven that looked up there? But you're still going to keep rolling it. So just for the sake of camera time, I'm going to trim that off. Only because I just want to show you guys what to do next. So now we're going to add a little bit of glue here. So I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue right here. There we go. And then we're going to press into this. Hold that down just a little bit. And the same thing you do with each one that I've shown you here, where you do a cross. So you're going to do the cross and then add your little piece of felt down there to keep it in place. So this is good and in place now. And what you want is a level flower. So what you do is you're just going to take your scissors and level it out down here. See that? And then you're going to take your scissors and level this part out over here. So I'm just going to cut this around a bit. And you can push it inward too. Actually, that works really nicely by pushing it inward. And you can just trim this up, pushing it inwards, because you want it to be as level as possible. I'm going to trim around here just a little bit more and press inwards just a bit. This one little layer here. Okay, I'm happy with that. I think that looks really cute. And so then you would just add this to your project. So you've got some different variations, you know, of the different flowers that you can add to your project, which I think are super cute. So now I will show you what the finished project looks like on this next segment. So I've done a few different flowers. I've done this one here, and then I've done this little pom-pom style here, and this is another kind of pom-pom style one here. And so I showed you guys previously how to make those. So now I'm just going to start laying this out onto here and start adding my flowers. I know my camera's not wide enough, but anyway, so I'll just kind of start laying my flowers out how I want them to go and kind of seeing what would look best. So anyway, I'm just going to kind of play around with this and see how these look as I keep placing my little flowers. And anyway, so I'll come back when I'm all done, but I definitely have some work to do in trying to glue these all here. So we'll come back when I'm all done here. Okay, all my flowers are hot glued onto here, and I love the way that it turned out. I think it turned out so pretty. So I think I'm going to go hang this on my door and then take a little video of it hanging on my door so you can really see how it looks.